Hey everyone, it's Kai, and you know, it's a Monday, and usually we talk about winning decks from tournaments from Japan, but because things happen, nothing's happening, right? Nothing's happening, and I was really psyched to see some V premium lists or V standard lists that might have popped up from the clan collection, but alas, you know, things happen, so that's not meant to be. So instead, I'm just gonna review VRoad lists. So VRoad actually has a lot of lists. When they released the clan collection, I think they released one for every clan, a list for every clan. So we're gonna go through them. I'm gonna rate them. I'm gonna react to them, and just kind of say maybe they could be good. You know, they could be good. They could be bad. I'll let you know. But one thing, let's kind of get into the mindset of a deck list from VRoad. I'm actually not expecting that much, right? They need to sell their new product, so of course they're gonna run all the new cards. And some of them, I think some of the decks kind of just build themselves, so they could just be good. If they're a good starter, like a good start point for individuals to get into the clan, they might be going, how do I build like a Royal Paladin deck from V Collection? They go, oh, well, here you go. This is how you build it. It's very easy. And then it's fine, right? It's fine. We don't have to go super degen because, you know, that's what we're for. That's what the players do. They make the deck super degen. But if it's a good start for the deck, then it's good. Otherwise, I know some decks just can't be redeemed, and we'll kind of talk about that just because they don't have enough support. But yeah, let's get started. First, we got Royal Paladins. Go to the VRoad. All right, so this is actually one of those decks that I think is quite good for starters. All right, very simple. This is the deck that pretty much, if I started testing the clan, I'd start off with this deck. Just because the deck builds itself, you put in some new cards. They actually only included one of the new grade 1 in the deck, because the value in it is not great. So it's kind of cool that they just only included one, because they know it's not that amazing too. But they've included other things that kind of make the deck work better. So they have the one that on grade 3 ride, you can put this card into soul and call cards, so they make multi-attacks. They're already thinking a bit ahead, I guess. I think this is the list that Dr. O used on stream, and that honestly, Dr. O's lists are alright. They're alright. They're nice. They have like one layer of thinking above just like the standard, right? So overall, I think this is a pretty decent list. If I was to give it like a rating, I'd give it like I guess like a 4 out of 5 when you compare it to other VRoad lists, right? Oh, this is the first one. This is the first one now, but you know, I just give it a 4 out of 5. Comparing it to like, you know, super playtested lists, no point. But you know, I think this is a good start, right? Good start. So yeah, Royal Paladin, good stuff. Second list, we got OTT. So OTT support for Tsukuyomi, it's cool. It's pretty cool, but doesn't really solve any of the problems for OTT, which is, yeah, that's just how it is, right? It is what it is. So Tsukuyomi, well, not for OTT, but for Tsukuyomi, right? This is, oh, hit my drink bottle. Yeah, Tsukuyomi still has the same problems, and that really doesn't change. In terms of how generic this list is, it's so generic, dude. It is so generic. I think if you wanted to go a step above, you'd probably try to find ways to fit in Amaterasu. But apart from that, yeah, this is a very simple list. I like how they included the kind of guard restrict to at least have some kind of end game, because that's where the problem in this deck lies. But yeah, this deck is just fine. It's like a nice average deck, all good. It's like probably like a 3 out of 5, I'd say. The next one we have is Genesis. So this is actually a deck that I don't really like. Right, so we have our standard Regalia stuff, you know, Norn and Yggdrasil just does its own thing. It's just tried and tested. Easy mode. Fortuna, of course, you can put in. I've seen a real list that runs like the Regalia, the Yggdrasil, and the Fortuna, and you run like you just run, it's like, I think it was still 8 crit, but similar to this, right? Similar to this, but you run like 2 30k shield crits and then 2 draws. But yeah, I think that testing that list, I was like, all right. But then you run Crude. Now, I don't really see the point in running Crude. I guess like from this deck's perspective, they're like, hey, if I ride Fortuna, have a full field, I can like Crude and soul charge like a bunch of cards, then look at like so many cards in my deck, and then my entire game plan is done, right? It's done. I think that's a bit it's a bit too maybe it's a bit too, I don't know. Like okay, so I guess you can do that. You soul charge X, look at top X, and go, okay, I can soul charge like 5 empties and then compress my deck insane, and then just get a trigger. So yeah, but overall the deck doesn't really function as well like that. It doesn't work as well. Like in the end, you're just still doing like you just still restand. I guess this can help you accelerate like force markers, but apart from that, they're not running like the PR, right? The witch PR that can scry top deck and also just gains like basic 5k. This card gets 5k, but that one's just easier. But yeah, I don't know. This one's not very good. I think this one's like a 2. I think 2. But I guess like if you think about it in like a Genesis way, its power decks are like in other places, and generally you probably wouldn't even need a Fortuna, I think. So yeah, it's not great. It's not great. Next one we have is Seal Dragon. This is probably the most standard Seal Dragon deck you're ever gonna see. I think everyone basically thought of this deck when they saw the card. They were like, okay, Seal Dragon himself is just a big beater. What do I combo this with? Well, Dauntless. Done. Put in all the new cards. Put in all the cards that kind of work with Dauntless, and then you're good. I think you have like one flex slot, which is this card. That's honestly fine. That's honestly fine. So this is just a pretty straightforward deck. Like, yeah, 4 out of 5, right? 4 out of 5. Maybe should I give these like 5 out of 5? It's just like very simple, you know, easy. It does what it does. Yeah, it'll be something like that. It'll be something like that. Next we have is Murk. This is one of those unredeemable decks, right? When I look at this deck, I feel sad. I honestly just feel really sad. There are some nice techs they went, because they put like one of each grade 1 perfect guard. And you're like, why? And the reason is just to make more different stealth fiends, because there just isn't enough. Now, there's even a worse one. There's this card here, this grade 3. They're running one of that. And this card's effect is that when it's revealed in a drive check, you may call it to the rear guard. So it's basically just a totally redundant effect unless you trigger it on grade 1 or 2. Right, so it's just there because it's a stealth fiend, right? It's just a stealth fiend. So yeah, it's honestly this deck is kind of fun when you high roll, but when you have to run all these janky stealth fiends, it just sucks, dude. It's really bad. Is this a good intro into Murakumo? Definitely not. Right, definitely not. Do they have some interesting text here? It's like, yeah, okay, they have some nice ideas, but honestly, I'd like just cut this. I'd probably, yeah, cut that. Probably cut that. Add some more of the grade 3s. And sure, you don't have like a full field of like, you know, all these different random stealth things, but the reality is it just doesn't matter. It honestly doesn't matter. This deck, it's like a 2, dude. It's like a 2, right? Narukami. So this is a cool Eradicator deck on paper. It doesn't work. This combo has 0 pressure. This deck is literally like a 1 out of 5. I'm not gonna lie. This combo and this in premium is terrible. You want Gauntless, but unfortunately you can't do that because they need to sell V collection, I think. So they can't get rid of Vowing, and you can't really do Vowing Gauntlet, can you? Right? The best combo is still Gauntlet plus this, and it just won't happen. It just won't happen because Vowing is just not very good in V. This is like, unfortunately, this is like a 1 out of 5. Right? This is like a 1 out of 5 deck. There is 0 pressure from this deck at all. It's not good. Like, the best pressure is Cho. It's Cho. How sad is that? Yeah. This one's not good, guys. Not good. Just build Vanquisher. Put Vanquisher with like Demolition Dragon or something. Actually, you might not have space for Demolition Dragons. Yeah. Bad luck. Next, Dimension Please. This one's not bad. This one's like a... I think there's a lot of theories on what 3s you need to put in. I like these 3 counts, right? Like when you think of this deck, you go, okay, Great Dayusha, that's going in. Dai Kaiser, yeah, this one's going in, sure. You already have 4 more 3s because of the Heal Guardian, so you're at 12. So you just need a few more slots to fill and you're done. And I mean, these guys went with Brad Black. I know some people like going with Dai Liner. I think both are fine. You might not even need to do like this at all. I was just thinking, just run a grade 3 with a crit or just anything else, and you're good to go, right? And just prioritize riding like Daikaiser. But you know, this at least gives you 8 good rides. 8 good rides. So I guess it's not bad, and like Brad Black helps you push. They did run 8 draws, which I think like when you think about with the concept of this deck, it's actually very good, and it's kind of teaching you like a Dimension Police player. You don't need that many crits, because guess what? Everyone and their mom in Dimension Police gets a crit, so you can actually get away with running more draws. Now, this might equate to just having less guard, but nowadays, like, you can put in more grade 1s in your lineup without sacrificing the grade 3s. So there is still some guard there. And I mean, some people even run like grade 2s of extra guard. There's like a lot of flex slot in these places. So I think that's fine. Like, the only weird thing is like this grade 1. You might want to change this grade 1 into like twin order or something like that, and that gives like you a lot of power. But that's like a PR. Maybe they just didn't want to put in. But overall, I think this deck is like one of the better ones out there. It's one of the better ones out there. I have a soft spot for Platinum Mace, by the way. I know some people don't like Platinum Mace, but this is my boy. It's my boy since like set 1 or something. Just like getting a crit, yeah. 15k, Vanguard Circle, play lane, yeah, dude, yeah. So yeah, I think this is great. I guess the only downside for this deck is Great Dayusha, because this guy apparently cost a lot of money in English. Probably not the case in JP, but in English, this guy is not a beginner card. This guy's not a beginner card, so yeah. Otherwise, this deck's like a 4 out of 5. I think it's like a 4 out of 5, right? Pretty good. Next we got Spike Brothers. This is like probably the most generic Spike Brothers deck you could ever build. Right, you go, okay, I wanna put Emperor, Dudley Emperor in the deck. What does it come with? Well, it comes with Dudley Lucifer, right? That's it. And then you put in the new cards and some of the Clan Collection 1 cards, and you're done. So nothing too interesting. It already kind of functions pretty decently, right? Just built like this. I think it's like a 3 out of 5 deck. It's pretty decent. Can definitely get way better, but you know, Spike getting maximum value from Spike by this deck does require more thinking. So there is much more ceiling there, I guess. Next one is Bunnies. Bunnies Pale Moon. This one is the big kahunas from Clan Collection, because it looks pretty darn scary, right? I think they've got some of the key cards correct. You know, we want Beast Tamer here. Golden Beast Tamer to like get Twin Drive from. I guess the cool thing is they've put in Eva, because you get to refund your draw. Like, so you attack with your Golden Beast Tamer, and then you discard and call 2. And if you call like an Eva, right, it refunds your cost for calling it out. So that's pretty good. That's actually kind of nice, snazzy tech. You also see them up the bunny count with like 4 and 4, but then they put like 1 and 1 to bring up to 10. 10's like a pretty decent. I guess that's pretty decent, right? It's all right. And then I guess here they just don't know what to put in the 2s, and I guess that's fine. Again, this can be pretty much any other 2, and you're good to go. And they kind of went in front, so I think it's pretty interesting. These guys went in front. I know talking to like to Mark and stuff, like the attack order kind of results in you wanting to have crits as well. So maybe that's a bit of a, maybe you want to put in like what, 6, if you really want to go front, you can put something like 6 fronts 2 crit, at least to keep people you know, honest, because when you're getting these many like Vanguard attacks, I think just, you know, they have, you want them to be scared of the crit, right? You want them to be scared of the crit. So yeah, overall I think this is a pretty decent deck. I think maybe it's a 4 out of 5, right? It's a 4 out of 5. It's sending you some decent ideas, some decent vibes from these cards to see how you want to build. I think I talked to Remy and he was talking about some Harry Bunny build as well. So there's actually, the ceiling is very big with this deck, which is a good to see. Good to see, right? Next we have Bermuda. This one's interesting. This one, not gonna lie, this one's kind of interesting. When I looked at this, the new Bermuda card, I was like, yeah, I just come with Lupina and Swine. This one's just a pure Rift Raid kind of build, where you just sit on her and then get a bunch of drive checks, right? Get a bunch of drive checks, and then you come with a TD card that gets like hits like 28. And yeah, I guess that kind of works. The problem with the deck is that sure, you get 5 attacks, but they don't hit really big. Of course, you do get to get a bunch of drive checks, and you do look at a bunch of cards off the top, but overall, surprisingly to say, I feel like the pressure from this deck is kind of not there. It's kind of not there. The reason why I still like Lupina is that after you get those force markers, when you do 5 attacks with Lupina, those columns are hitting massive. There is literally no way they can guard that. So not even having a Lupina, I feel like is a neg. I feel like it's a neg. So I think the deck could be better off if you can somehow stick 2 Lupinas in to kind of get that big finisher. But if you just want to sit on her and still focus on that, you still can. But yeah, apart from that, this is a very interesting deck just to kind of abuse ref rate. I think this is like a 3 out of 5 deck. This is 3 out of 5 deck. Not like anything too incredibly amazing, but just, you know, this is what she does. Put stuff that gets a bit of power, and yeah, you're good to go, right? Good to go. Next one, we got Tetra Drive. Now, I gotta say, I'm not a huge fan of Tetra Drive. I did kind of like the idea of Tetra Drive, because people were like talking bad about it, but the amount of setup you kind of need with it just is, it's not that good. It's not that good, right? When you need too much setup to make something work, I feel like it's just not as worth it. And in doing so, since this deck does require a lot of setup, I don't think an 8 crit build is correct. Because sure, like the idea is like, okay, you know, you get a crit in your first Tetra Drive turn battle. Oh, this thing's gonna be very scared of the crit. But I think it's better to cut down at least 2 crits for 2 more draws to make it like a 6 draw build, so you can kind of draw your pieces more. Also, cutting one of your new grade 1s is not great, because you need, like, the whole way to make multi-attacks is that you need 2 multi-attack cards on your first grade 3 turn to be able to do the 7 attacks. And maybe you just don't want to do the 7 attacks, right? Maybe you just don't want to do it. You're fine with just doing not 7 attacks, but that sounds really bad. The grade 2 personally is just not very good. The new grade 2 is just, it's nice to get power, but it doesn't really contribute to your game plan. So I would like cut her at least to just put 1 more of that if you're really stuck on this train. Overall, this is like I think this is like a 3 out of 5 list. 3 out of 5 list, but you know, the concept itself might be lower, right? Might be lower, but I'm gonna give it like a 3 out of 5, right? Just very generic, very generic. But I think there's better ways you could build Aqua Force. And next we got Giraffe, right? Giraffe. Now, when I was building this list, I was going, how do I build Giraffe? Nothing really combos with Giraffe. Like none of the good grade 3s. Like you run the Clan Collection 1 grade 3, which is like what, an upgraded like what was it, Hell Demise something? Right? But basically his cost requires you to have dealt damage that turn. So ideally you want a multi-attack at 5 damage, right? Like 5 attacks of 5 damage, that's great. That works with Venom Singer because he changes your opponent's damage, right? He makes him heal and then ping 2 damage. So that works. That will always happen. But with this, Giraffe doesn't really make your opponent change damage. They have to take damage before they can before you can use him. So I don't like that. I actually really don't like that, because your opponent should know. Your opponent should know what's gonna happen. If they're letting you hit, they're either happy to let you hit or they have no way to stop you from letting you hit. But the first option where they're just letting you hit, that's not good. That's not good. They're also running this other grade 3, which is like on attacking and Soul Blast 2 grade 3s, and your opponent has to discard a card, and then your opponent can only just use the same grade they've discarded for that battle. Alright, so they'll discard a 0, and then just guard with 0s. Or they could just no guard it. It's not a great grade 3, but yeah, the problem with Giraffe here is that there's just no good grade 3s. Honestly, just no good grade 3s, which is pretty sad. That's why, yeah, I don't know how you're supposed to build this deck. I built this with Venom Stinger still as well, but just, there's not very good options. Maybe you're supposed to build it with Ghidorah, you know, just to get some cradles at some point, but you know, Giraffe can kind of power through by himself when you don't draw the Ghidorah. But yeah, it's kind of iffy, man. It's kind of iffy. I'm not too sure. At least like this works with Ghidorah because Ghidorah can call, right, like from deck. So yeah, that's just how the cookie crumbles, man. That's just how the cookie crumbles. Okay, next we have our Angel Feather. This one's actually interesting. I do kind of like it. right? When I first built the Angel Feather deck, we were just going, let's just build it with Ramiel only. That's fine. We don't need any of the other grade 3s except for Heal Guardian, right? Because we got to test that out. But you know, if you think about it, this No Seal is pretty good. Just because, you know, No Seal search a copy of himself, and then bam, right? You can restand it. So you can start snowballing there. And this grade 3 is kind of interesting in that you can kind of just heal a bunch of damage off and then put the correct ones into the damage. So you can, again, do that. So overall, I think, you know, I was considering this card in the deck, but I just, in the end, I think I only ran like 1 or something like that. But this No Seal is definitely a good addition. And then the rest of the deck kind of, again, builds itself. Just put in the new cards. The grade 1, doesn't really work well with Ramiel. But I guess they just put 1 copy because, hey, it's a new card. You still want it. You still want it. Overall, this list is like a... This light list is like a... I don't know. It's like a... It's like... I think it's a 3 out of 5. Alright, it's cool. Not too interesting. Nothing too crazy. Alright, nothing too crazy. Maybe a 4. Maybe a 4, right? If they're going with the Ramiel concept. I think I forgot to give Giraffe. This one's unfortunately like a... It's like a 3 or 2. I don't know. It's so hard rating this man. Melancholy's a mess. Melancholy's a mess. I'll give it a 3. I'll just give it a 3. It was a good effort. It was a good effort. Next, we've got Raging Form. This deck is so meta. It's actually insane. Right? I think, like, this deck is 1 card off my deck that I built. I think I just ran 1 less Masquerade to put 1 more Blasted Dark. But apart from that, they know what's up. They know, yeah, you can combo. You know, you still got Mordreds, you know, Raging Form time. Let's go. This is literally like a 5 out of 5 deck. This is meta dog as you want to go. If you're going Raging Form, you're like, wow, I just built this deck. This deck is nearly as good as it gets for Raging Form, I think. Right? Nearly as good as it gets. So yeah, someone at Boucher definitely knows their Shadow Paladins. Let's put it that way. Let's put it that way. So this is 5 out of 5 deck. As meta as it gets. This is meta as it gets. You don't... Once you build this deck, I don't think you need to change it at all. Unless you want to play Luard. Yeah, insane, insane. Next we got Golds. We got Prominence Core. I think it's alright. I think this deck's like alright. Like, in terms... I personally still like Spectral more. But Core does have its ways to just like blow people out of the water. Because if they're not prepared, right? If they're not prepared, you could just pop in with a bunch of Eagles, your Max Slash comes out, and then bam, so many attacks in 1 turn. You could be damage denying the previous turn with a crit from Core. So there's some different versatility there, but then you can transition into a 1-shot option. Because you have things that just hit really big, you know? You get like Aglavale's hitting big, Gold Eagle's hitting big. Yeah, it just happens. Now, I said before you come with Max Slash to push a bunch of damage. This deck is not running Max Slash, so the kill potential there is lower. It's also running a Fallon, which is, I think, overall quite a low value card. You might as well just play anything else. So yeah, this list of Core is not great in my opinion. This is like a... I think this is probably like a 2 out of 5 list for Core. You can definitely do better. But what can I say, right? I'm just playing Percival.deck all the time because that's the only grade 3 I draw. But yeah, I definitely think, you know, things like this can be gone, Fallon can be replaced, with just more ways to make more multi-attacks during the battle phase, just to kind of kill people as quick as possible, unless they get 2 damage checks, 2 trigger damage checks, right? But it happens. It's Vanguard. Next we've got Die Hozon. Not gonna lie, Die Hozon's a cool guy, right? He's a cool old man, but the rest of the cards don't really work around him. Now, you can say, dude, he's running so many cards that bounce to hand. Who cares? Who cares if you bounce cards to hand? Yeah, how do you kill him, right? How do you kill him? Let's be real. How do you kill your opponent? They're running this grade 3. What he does is like a once per turn. If they you bounce something, it gets 10k. Who cares about 22k, man? This isn't... This is maybe a 2019 card, right? But it isn't 2019 anymore. Things have changed. Things have changed for I don't know. Is it for the better? Maybe not. I don't know. Right, but yeah, if it wasn't limited like once per turn, maybe it'd be way better, right? You'll have kill potential, but with this you still don't. Your kill potential is limited to your Vanguard, and your opponent knows that too, so they could definitely guard it. And remember, you're 12 and you're like a plus 15. That's still 27. That's not that crazy. Still, it's like a 2-card guard, right? So yeah, honestly, could they have found better cards to combo with? Maybe not. Maybe not. Like in terms of a theme deck, right? This is like a theme deck around Hozon. It's all right. You know, bounce the whole field. Yeah, bounce them all, and then make them like discard them next turn when they call them. But remember, when you're bouncing them as well, they can guard with those cards too. So I don't know. I think this is like a 2 out of 5 deck. I think this is like 2 out of 5 deck. Hozon and V. Not a fan. Not a fan. Next, we have the Mimi Ancient Dragon deck for Tachikaze. Now, full disclosure, I did play a deck similar to this as well, because I was like going, man, I just want to flip fronts and crit. So yeah, in terms of the theme deck, I guess this is all right, but you know, like, to be honest, the new Ancient Dragons that don't get crits when you trigger a front, kind of lame. They're kind of lame, you know, because that's not how you high roll, man. You want to flip a front, everything gets a crit, and your opponent feels bad. So the fact that they're not running too many of them, in fact, I don't think they're only like running one of them, one copy. Oh well, they got the 3 as well, my bad. So the fact that they're only running that, like, dude, I think this is going to like a 1 out of 5 deck, honestly, like, because there are so many better ways I think you can build Ancient Dragons, but apart from that, there are so many better ways you can build this Tachikaze deck to really show off your Spino Dragon. So Spino Driver, I mean. So yeah, I think this is like a 1 out of 5 deck, man. I honestly think this is a 1 out of 5 deck. There's way better decks you can build. Tachikaze was like, wow, okay. Next one, we've got Nova Grappler. Now, Nova Grappler's done some cool things. You know, you got your four is it Macarizer? A Maximum Riser? I think that's correct. You know, correct. Your Cool Hanks, alright. You got Pions, you need to get the power. There's only one Cap Baller. Only one Cap Baller. So this deck went full memes. No, not full memes. They went full stability, hardly any memes. And I think that's actually the wrong way you want to build this deck. You want to build max memes, because the cap, funnily enough, even this Cap Butler is pretty. It makes guarding so hard. It makes guarding actually really difficult and annoying. So I would want to play more of this, but the thing is, they're running like 8 crits and they can't, so they're still staying in stability land. And if you want to play a stable game versus other stable decks, I think you lose out. I think you just straight up lose out. You have to be able to, you know, play, get the memes going, to just kind of randomly beat your opponent. I mean, they've got some of this correct, but overall, I think I want to give this deck like I think it's like a 2 out of 5 thing. I think as Novas, you can't play normal versus a lot of other decks out there. And the fact that they are building normal is just wrong. This is wrong. So yeah, 2 out of 5. Next one, we got Link Joker. I'm not gonna lie, I see 4 Colony Makers. This is like a 0 out of 5 deck, 100%. And 1 Palladium? Oh my god, dude. Ooh, 1 Palladium? Oh my god. Through testing, I think I kind of want 2 Nordstroms, but Infinite Zero Dragon is feeling pretty lame, honestly. I think I probably won't want to 4-copy this. I might even like 2-copy it, because I just want to be Chaos Breaker all the time, man. I want to be Chaos Breaker all the time. 6 draw, yeah, I think 6 draw is fine. But this 1 Palladium is very triggering me, man. Because I think they're only running 1 Palladium because they have to run so many other grade 1s. But get rid of Colony Maker, man. Just get rid of this card. It's so bad, dude. Yeah, this Chaos list, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe I'm harsh because I'm a Chaos player. But I feel like it's like a 1 out of 5 list, dude. I think this list could be improved so much. It's either a 1 or a 2, right? Maybe it's a 2 if I'm just thinking like correctly, but because I've got bias, it's like a 1 out of 5 list. It's just like 4 quality makers? Come on, man. Like this, yeah, I think it's a 1 out of 5 because you play 4 quality makers, it's like a -4 from a 5. 5 minus 4 is a 1. So, yeah, no, dude, quality maker. It's so bad, dude. It's so bad. Yeah, but yeah, like they had to run a 1. They had to run this at least 1 copy, but they ran 4. Dude, 4, dude. I have to go to the next one. All right, next one. Dark Irregulars. Yeah, Ragey. What can they do with Ragey? So one thing that really popped up with this list is that there is a lot of counterblast in this list. I don't think they've balanced the counterblast correctly. Although this is like 1 copy, and I guess it's fine, right? 1 copy. They need us. This is a new card. They need to show it off, right? But you're starting 4 Dimension Creeper, and this minuses deck like cards from deck, which is the easiest way for you to just deck out and lose. So yeah, I feel like this is a wrong pick. This is definitely a wrong pick. You probably want to play other cards that can kind of soul charge for free, like the old. Is it the Vukrulkus? Or is that the grade 1? It's the grade 2 guy that combos with the grade 1. You want to run him. But yeah, apart from that, you know, Emblem Ash, the rest is kind of standard, right? It's kind of standard. And the problem is just that Ragey is not a very good card. In terms of a Ragey deck, this one, I think is a 2 out of 5, unfortunately, because it's just the counterblast is just not balanced. It's not balanced. You want to save all of it for Emblem Ash, and there's no Killer Tail. I just realized there's no Killer Tail, so wow, that's even worse. No Killer Tail. This is like a, I think this should go to like a 1 out of 5 deck. Dude, why are there so many 1 out of 5s, dude? So many 1 out of 5s. They start off big with Thing Saver, but you know, these Ragey decks, this one's not very good, dude. It's like a 1 or a 2 out of 5. Okay, I think I give it a 1 out of 5. I'm sorry, this is not balanced. It's not balanced. There's no balance. All right, no balance. Next you have is Gear Chronicle. Right, Gear Chronicle. Overall, this Gear Chronicle deck is pretty decent. All right, I think it's getting there. Right, the one change I would make is one time leap per dragon, because there's no point running 2 Cronus Command. You're never gonna stride into Cronus Command twice. You might not even stride into it once, right? Depending on the board state. So yeah, I think just 1/1 is fine, and then you know 2 like the grade 2 line is gonna change because it depends how much you value your Caliban. That's pretty much it. How much you value your Caliban, but there's like some things that you can't change, like the Force Smoke Gear. But apart from that, the rest of this deck is actually quite solid. This is kind of like I guess it's like a 4 out of 5 deck, like a 4 out of 5, 4.5 out of 5 maybe even. So yeah, I think this is quite strong. This is a pretty good showing. Yeah, crazy. From all the 1 out of 5s, we went straight up to like the high end kind of deal. I think like this could even be like a 5 out of 5, dude. Could even be a 5 out of 5. There's just one problem, and that's you want 1 time leaper, I think. So yeah, this for like a 4.5 out of 5. Right? Just cut it a bit. Right. Next we got is Grand Blue. So Pinot Noir. Personally speaking, I think Pinot Noir is just not a very good deck. It's honestly not good. Why are you playing this when you can play Night Rose? That's just it. And I guess the annoying thing as well with like Skull Dragons here is that they retire themselves, so your Fran, I think, needs to like pop a back row booster, so that's kind of lame too. I think it's cool that you can play Protect 2 of this deck, which is nice. The one thing is he's not playing Cutlass. I think you should play Cutlass, right, for the counter charge. This deck actually uses a surprisingly big amount of counterblast, because if you're doing 5 attacks, you're popping 2 counterblasts with her. Then what your Column Bard wants to do something when you ride it or when you call it, right? So that's another CB. I think you're running out of CB pretty quickly, and you don't run any Cutlass. I think that's a miss. I think that's a miss, man. So overall, I think this deck is like, it's like a 2 or a 3, should I say? I think it's a. This is. I think this is like a 2. I think this is a 2 deck. You're missing some fundamental pieces, I think. Also, the deck itself is just not that strong. Unfortunately, yeah, you want to show off Pinot, but you know the better deck is this is barely a side grade, not even, right? Not even. You have other side grades like just a Beatrice, and then you've got the main deck which is Night Rose. So yeah, I think it's like a two. Next we have is Isabelle. I actually think this is a good deck. I think this is a pretty decent deck. It is getting there. Isabelle is, I think, the best choice to combo with the new supports for Clan Collection. And Isabelle herself is just hits big, hits like a truck. The one card it is missing is Monoculous Tiger. I think Monoculous Tiger definitely puts on a lot of pressure, especially when you got columns that hit massively. You don't really do that many crazy amount of multi-attacks. You only hit as many as the amount of Excel circles you have, but just from those circles themselves, they hit really big. And then the Monoculous coming in just really so annoying. It's just hitting so big. You can't null. You can rearrange as well, especially like for the Monoculous. So it's not a random card. Actually, no, because you're running Isabelle, you get both effects, so it doesn't matter. It's just an insane card. So yeah, because they're not running Monoculous, I think this deck is like a 4 out of 5. It's nearly perfect. It's actually just nearly perfect. If it did, I think, yeah, it's just hit it off. Maybe you can, honestly, like, the card you could probably replace is, like, the Chat Noir. Like, lower that count, add some more Monoculous Tiger. Or take out, like, the Compass Lion. But I guess that lowers the grade 2 count quite low, so they want to change that. So yeah, maybe lower, like, the Chat Noir count, actually, a bit lower. Then you can put in some Monoculous. And then this deck is actually a beast. Quite a beast. And then lastly, we have Neo Nectar. Honestly, this deck is pretty well built, to be fair. It's built pretty well. You have the new cards, right? The 1, 2, and the 3. Kind of need all of them because they're all Musketeers. Then you put in the other Musketeers in. I guess the Sylvia straight up you're putting in. The 2 and the 3, they're kind of filler slots, but at least the 3 can get a crit, right? You can get a crit when you call it out, and it's not like you do search quite a bit. You compress pretty hard with the deck as well. So overall, I think this is quite a fine lineup. The only card that is kind of random is the 1, because yeah, she's not a Musketeer, but she searches for your Vera, which is the most important thing in the deck. And then the other one they're running is just this card that gets 10k when it's called out from the deck. And yeah, that's actually pretty good. It's not bad. It makes your column set masses. Unfortunately, it's a 3-attack deck, but this is pretty much what a Musketeer deck will want to be built like. And then yeah, so I think it's like a 4 out of 5 deck. Right, 4 out of 5. Deck build, very straightforward. Unfortunately, not like super meta. It's more like just like tier 2 or 3, kind of sitting there. But for a 3-attacker deck, it actually does pretty well. So yeah, overall, it's a good deck. I think this is a pretty well deck from Bushiroad. So overall, we've seen quite a lot of decks. Some of them were built quite well. Some of them were just really bad. Just terrible. And you know, I got my fix on some V collection decks. Let me know what you guys think were the best decks that Bushiroad made for their site. Yeah, I think like what the Ranger one, the Shadow Paladin one, probably just the most meta out of all of them, right? Literally the best. Yeah, let me know what you guys think were the best ones, and I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, bye.